own business. Just ask. Here's Amy.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Just Ask Upland Podcast, the home of the Upland Chamber of Commerce, where we are highlighting all of our wonderful members in our community, making sure that you know exactly who they are, what their business is, and how you can support them. I'm truly excited because we are voted actually one of the best chambers in the Inland Valley. And who do I have to show you today that actually is a actually, are you brand new? No, you've been,
We've been here 18 years in Upland.
so he's not a new business, but he's a newer member to the Upland Chamber community. John with Ovation School of the Performing Arts. Yay!
Hi, Amy.
How are you? And I guess I should, I know you personally, and I'm just talking like you're, my buddy. Please introduce yourself formally to our guests. And
Okay. I'm John Lewis, one of the co-founders of Ovation School for the Performing Arts.
and tell us, what is Ovation?
So Ovation is a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization. We founded it 22 years ago to teach life skills through the performing arts to kids and adults with special needs. And even though the adults are special needs, we integrate kids with special needs into our day program until they turn 18, and they go into our adult program. Teaching life skills, the purpose behind that, I'll just do a little backstory on
Please.
it. I was a theater major in high school, had a theater scholarship to Cal Baptist University. I was at Cal Baptist College then in 1968. And I got kicked out the first semester, which made me, in the 60s, I was eligible for the draft at that point. So I joined the Marines, went to Vietnam. When I came back, I went back to school. But because of experiences in Vietnam, the thing that bothered me the most that I brought home with me was kids hurting, what happened to kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back and changed my major from theater to child psychology. And then I used drama therapy with developmentally disabled kids. And I wrote 2 plays about it, ended up in producing those in Hollywood. And then my career in Hollywood took off at that point.
Right.
4 kids that were child actors. And it's a terrible business for kids to be in. And we watched so many of them and their friends and our kids' friends getting in trouble, drugs and alcohol. And so we started the school originally to teach kids about using their skills and gifts to give back,
Right.
Rather than trying to be rich and famous where they get in trouble. Then that grew into more about teaching life skills and
Mm-hmm.
teaching kids to be better human beings and using the give back ideology to change the world. And so for 22 years, we've had kids that have gone on, graduated. Most of our teachers have gotten their degrees. They grew up with us at this school, got their degrees, now they're our teachers. We have them as music therapists, as psychologists, as lawyers, as doctors, as scientists, and literally changing the world.
I was just going to say your mission to change the world.
Yep.
Yes, your focus is those who have special needs. However, anyone.
Yeah, don't we all? You know, when they say on the spectrum, I think we're all on the spectrum somehow. And I think that that's part of the individuality of human beings and our creative process. I guess my official title here at Ovation is creative director. And but I think we're all creative and allowing the kids to create, to experiment, to make mistakes, because they aren't mistakes. They're just another way of learning. I had a very close friend I used to work with. I won't name him, but he had 2 Academy Awards. But he he used to say, there's no bad days, there's good days and learning days.
Mm.
And I think that that same philosophy is true, whether it's acting, singing, dancing, and that's how we use those tools to teach life skills, because you can experiment, and especially in improv, you can create a character.
On the
uh,
fly.
You can release your tensions, your emotions, and you can't go wrong. Same thing with singing or dancing. You hit a wrong note, so what? You take a wrong step in choreography, it's amazing because you just learned something and you're creating.
I think that that is something that I've learned during my time spent with you is just have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really.
But life has to be fun. So when we tell that, when if a parent wants their kids to come here because they want them to become actors and child actors, what does the child want? You know,
It may or may not be the right
and
place.
it should be fun.
Right.
And so everything, I think we learn better when we're enjoying life.
Right.
And that's true for all of us.
Well,
you have to
and I
enjoy
have to interject here because this is something that I told you in pre-show discussion. I know you
Mhm.
as John, but I also know you as Peter Pan,
Okay.
right? I mean, so the inside scoop that I want people to know about you.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to start. I'm going to
Okay,
start,
okay, go ahead.
and then I want you to wrap me up. You said life needs to be fun. We need to have a great time. It's about the inner child. Take it away.
Okay, so when I was in high school in theater class, my theater teacher would laugh at everything I did. And she'd say, you know, you're never going to grow up. So she started calling me Peter Pan. That stuck with me when I was that first semester before I got kicked out of college. That stuck with me. By the time I got in the Marines, the nickname Peter Pan stuck. So my dog tags that I wore in Vietnam, I actually have one that says Peter Pan on it that I actually wore in Vietnam. And they're hanging in my office right now, which is the Peter Pan Museum. If anybody,
Right.
so when you
right.
come to visit Ovation, you'll tour the Peter Pan Museum. But that philosophy stuck with it when I was teaching the developmentally disabled kids. A kid that was struggling to learn to walk, my philosophy was, I'm going to teach him how to fly. And if all he ever does is walk, then he flew.
Right.
So I wrote a play called Of Shadows Lost about my experiences of working with them and teaching them to fly. And that ran for 4 years in Hollywood. And then I wrote a play called Nathan about a family with a boy with special needs. And that ran for 4 years in Hollywood. From that, I directed Grease with Fran Drescher in Hollywood right after that. And so the Peter Pan philosophy stuck because it's staying young at heart,
Right.
believing that there's nothing you can't do, including fly, and actually had so many successes of working with kids and having them reach that goal of wanting to fly and then finding success that they feel like they flew.
I think that's the full circle message. We're, boy, right here in the first segment. The full circle message that I saw when I first met you and saw everything you do here is just that. A child comes here and begins their journey, but then they come back
Mhm.
and they're teachers and they do fly because they do achieve those degrees and they do go all around the world or local, whatever they choose.
Yes.
And I think that the mission is met when you see what those kids have accomplished.
Right. And again, it's not about the entertainment industry. And some of them do go into that, but they go into it safer and making better choices. But it's about being anything you want and create your story, write your own story,
Right.
and learning what storytelling is, because I'm a screenwriter,
Right.
and learning that the structure of storytelling is beginning, middle, and end, but it's a journey. It's life's
Right.
a journey.
That's right.
And so you learn to create where you want to go, and then the journey along the way is not going to be what you think. There's going to have the twists like every movie has. There's going to be obstacles in the way, and you create your way through, but you enjoy those moments.
And while you're in those moments, as a parent bringing their child here, the first question sounds great, but what does it cost? That's something I want to dive into in just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, please. We need to make sure we're sharing this story with everybody.
Awesome.
Let's talk about that magic question when the parents come in and say, "Sign me up, sign up our kids. We want them with you every day after school," or which classes can they take? Tell me about that journey and what does it cost to be here?
Okay, so the way the classes work, they take the entire program. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, it's acting, singing, and dancing. So they rotate classes. So they might start with acting, they rotate to voice, then they go to dance.
Okay.
And it's 3 different styles of dance: and musical theater and tap. And then what musical theater does is it incorporates all styles of dance, like hip hop and jazz. So everyone takes the whole program because then it makes them a whole performer.
Okay.
But also, each one helps the other. Somebody might be more advanced in one of the areas than another, like dance or voice or acting. And then they all get to come together as a whole, because now it's a whole group, because where there might be weakness here, there's a strength here, and then it makes a whole ensemble. So they take all the classes, and there's a monthly tuition. However, we never turn anyone away. In 22 years, we've not turned anyone away for financial needs or any other reason. They're here to learn. They need to be here. Everyone who comes through that door, we feel like they need to be here. They were sent here for a purpose.
How do you do that financially? I can't imagine how you're able to keep the doors open.
Yeah, we aren't either. So we do, but somehow it's okay. So this is how Ovation runs. It's tuition which will not even come to a fraction of the expenses. There's fundraisers and donations and grants.
Okay.
Those are very rare as well. But then the main component is faith. We're here because we believe we're supposed to be here, and faith keeps us here. And there isn't a day that goes by that we're not worried about finances. But then faith takes away the worry. And so it's honestly, there have been so many amazing people that have believed in what we do, and former parents of former students who come back and help and donate and give.
You've taught those children to fly, and so the parents are paying back to make sure the rent's paid.
That's
Right?
right. Yes. So, but and yeah, and so it's being creative as well, and how to keep the doors open. And more often than not, salaries are way down here, and sometimes it'll go 6 months without salaries, because the main thing is the kids, keeping the door open for the kids.
And in the public school system, we've seen the arts diminish. Those classes truly are almost non-existent. There are families that need that outlet because that may be the way the child learns,
Right.
right? And so they need schools like this.
Right. And we've done a lot of research recently. There is no one anywhere that we have found that does what we do.
Right.
It's not, I mean, I think the title performing arts is a misrepresentation sometimes. But what we do with kids and teaching kids to give back we take them out in the community to perform at seniors' homes and children's hospitals and veterans hospitals and homeless shelters, and they do good deeds. When the city asks us to do something for the city, We never say no. We're involved in every event that's downtown in the city, including the library, and we go perform at the library and read to kids at the libraries. So what we do is so unique. And when it comes to our special needs adults program, there is no one that uses the way we use it to teach life skills to the adults with special needs. We have on our website, there's I think it's on our YouTube channel, a 2.5-hour documentary on 20 years of our special needs group and adults with special needs who have been with us for over 20 years and watching them progress.
So dive a little deeper into that, teaching them life skills, because some programs talk about the fact that, kids couldn't write a check. Well, we don't write checks anymore.
Right.
So tell me what that looks like.
Okay, so life skills it's self-confidence. It's being able to stand up for yourself, public speaking, not to fear walking into a room with other people because you're going to be judged. The ability to speak in public, taking risks, taking chances. One of the difficulties that I've had in fact, literally 50 years of working with special needs, did I just say that? 50 years of working with, so is that I call it dignity of risk, where we as children are allowed to go out and play and climb a tree, risking we're going to fall out and break our arm.
Right.
But in doing so, we learn and we grow, and that's how we develop. Most of the time with special needs, we don't allow them that dignity of taking risks. And so we hold them back from progress and learning. When they come to Ovation, we put them in and they dance like everybody else. They sing like everybody else. We put them in improvisations. And if they sit up there on that stage and there's 5 minutes goes by without saying a word, that's okay. And then all of a sudden they start speaking. And we watch, sometimes for the first time ever in their lives, they're doing things because they decided to do it. They want to do it. So learning life skills is hard to define when it puts that confidence into you as a human being, that not only there's nothing you can't do, but you can take that risk to go out and try something and risk breaking your arm.
Well, the work you do is amazing, because an observation that I had when I first came to Ovation and talked to the students, not one child shied away from talking to the grown-up. Not one child was concerned about being in the same room with a grown-up. I was just someone else that walked in the room and someone else who was asking questions, just like you. Okay, we can interact. There was no fear. There are some kids that you see automatically start grabbing at mom's jacket or dad's jacket, and then they hide behind them, and oh my gosh, a grown-up's talking to me. None, not one child even ducked away from me. When I passed them in the hall, they smiled. A couple said hi, but nobody was afraid to make eye contact with me, and they just went about their day. And for me, as a parent myself, that was very important, to make sure that my kids weren't afraid to walk into a room. And I think now add that layer where there's a child with special needs, it's even harder to teach that skill.
Right. Well, when you look at what kids go through now in school with the bullying and the suicide rate, and one of the things that we teach is that everyone's on the same playing field. So the bullying right away, whatever this group over here is making fun of this kid, instead we're an ensemble. I talk about it like a car engine. Well, the old cars now, who knows what how they work, but that it can run smooth, but you take one spark plug out and it runs rough.
Right.
And you teach in an ensemble, a dance or a song or vocal where there's harmonies, one off out of the group makes the whole thing not work right. So you're teaching them to work together as a group, as an ensemble, and everyone is just as important as the other. There's no leads, there's no stars.
This is where I get to say thank you for not calling Eric Hansen and I out by name. Haha, Eric, I'm calling you out right now because we were those two in the ensemble that maybe were a little step or two off, and there we were.
Yes.
Learning our steps.
You know I'm going to show that clip right now, right?
Great. Eric, get ready. Here it comes. Well, this was just so helpful, this segment. I'm grateful for this conversation because people need to know what you do and how you give back to the community. It's not just you saying, "Here I am." No, it's the kids. They're
Right.
there and they're
Yeah.
performing, and we can see them in multiple venues performing or just
Right.
shaking hands with the seniors.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you for everything you're doing. We truly appreciate this. Let's talk about your time here in Upland. You said you've been here in Upland how many years?
In Upland, I think it's 18 years. We're 22 years old.
Okay.
The school, we started in Azusa in 2004.
Okay.
And in 2008, we came to Upland actually to purchase the Grove Theater. And we were in escrow. We had the whole season scheduled with 8 shows that year. And of course, the crash happened.
Right.
The market and turned upside down, and the banks that were financing pulled out.
Mhm.
But we still finished the season. We did 7 shows, I think, at the Grove in 2008. And then we moved to 13th Street by the police station, and we were there for 13 years. And we came here to this location, downtown Upland, so we're like full circle, back home.
Right.
And so we're right downtown Upland. And it's, it's two-sided. It's a very expensive place to be, and it makes it difficult. But at the same time, it puts us right in the middle of give back, because Upland is our city. It's what we're here for. And so immediately we jumped right into downtown, and anything that the city asks us for, we say yes to, and jump into everything, whether it's Christmas downtown, or Scary Affair, or the public library.
Lemon Festival.
Lemon Festival. Yeah, we just did produced the Upland Idol, and the Lemon Festival. Our kids performed on the downtown stage.
But tell everybody more about that, please, because that, I think, is a great expression to share with our listeners, how you put together the whole event.
Mhm.
It's pre Lemon Festival start. I mean, they're already judging here
Right.
before. So share a little bit about that
Well,
journey.
well, one of the things that we wanted to do, because we're a performing arts school, so we had a lot of our students that were going to be entering as well. And we wanted to make sure that it was completely fair, but also a city event. So all of the judges that we brought in were representative from the Chamber of Commerce, from the Rotary, from Kiwanis, from the city, from the library. And so we had 8 judges, and we had nothing to do with the judging. We just produced the event. And that's part of building community of Upland, was having a representative from the entire community behind it.
Right. And so kids competed from how many rounds did they go through?
Well, it was we had 3 categories. We had kids, teens, and adults. So they submitted on video, and 8 were selected from each group. So 8 performed. So that's 24 performing.
Wow.
We had a big audience at the Cooper Museum, and
Right.
it was amazing. And then the judges scored, and then at the end of each round, they collected the scores. They were taken back into a back room at the museum, and then an envelope came out.
Wow.
Was sealed, and then we were all, waiting, and then they opened it, and Becky hosted it and read the winners. So,
This is the real deal.
yeah,
I mean, that's another life skill, learning how to win gracefully,
Right.
how to lose
Yeah,
gracefully,
exactly.
and how to handle the pressure and the
Right.
tension, not only of the performance, but there's that moment where, oh my gosh,
Right.
now, what do the points look like? And what are the tallies? And, oh, I should have done this and I shouldn't have done that, things like that.
Yeah.
But that's all part of the
Right.
process.
But so many people from the community submitted that we have nothing to do with. We didn't know, and they won. And but they performed at the gazebo on Saturday night of the Lemon Festival, and it was packed, people watching them, and it was a beautiful, beautiful performance.
It's a wonderful thing to hear you get involved in the community with that, with these kids. So let's talk more about when you first came here,
Okay.
because that was an important time in your journey, in the journey of the school, because you had 8 shows lined up.
Mhm.
You weren't able to complete all 8.
Mhm.
But people need to hear what it was like. I was blown away when I heard the story. The scrambling, the cleanup, share.
Okay. Well, when you've moved everything there into thinking you're buying this theater, and then it turns upside down, and now everything's there, but you've already sold tickets for the season. We had season ticket holders, and it was amazing time. But then we had to leave, which we're scrambling to find a place to stay. We put everything in storage, and financially, very, very difficult time.
Actors still had to show up and
We
practice.
did, and do the shows, but it was awesome. The first show we did was Dreamgirls. We did Seussical, Forever Plaid, a show that we wrote, musical called Star of Persia, the story of Esther. Anyway, yeah, but it was fun. I mean, and we started building our program even more then when we moved, and yeah, so now we're back.
Putting together a production is a lot of work. It's not just sitting in meetings saying, oh, and let's do this, let's do that. There's props. You have to physically build all of this. Tell the audience what you have here, because it's not just about coming in and singing and dancing.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we have, at Ovation, we have a recording studio, a mixing room, a mixing for film. We have a voice room, an acting studio, a TV studio, and then we have a warehouse and tools full of sets and props that go back 50 years. And the kids learn those skills as well when we do a production. They watch how it's put together, the rehearsal process, the layering. So life is about layering. You learn to crawl first, and then you stand up, and then you fall down, and then you start to walk. It's the same thing with the production. You layer it in. Maybe you learn the lyrics first, and then you learn the music, and then you're starting to learn the choreography, and you're reading your lines, and you have rehearsals where it's layering. And then we get to Tech Week, and they're watching the set go in, and they're coming in and watching their parents volunteer with the sets. So yeah, you learn business, because that's how businesses work,
It's all about a community effort. Everybody gets involved. It's a
Yeah.
village, right?
Yeah.
And it is a business, which now let's talk about, what they're wearing, their costumes. That's a lot of money. However, they also learn a life skill here.
Yeah, and a lot of performing arts schools, when they do shows, we call it the pay to play. And then they charge kids for costumes. They charge a fee for this and all those extras. And we don't do that. We give the kids the costumes because we also have a sewing class.
That's what I
And
wanted you to talk
yeah,
about. Yes.
and Patty, who's the teacher of the sewing class, she's been with us for 30 years. She was our costumer many years ago before we started Ovation. And she still teaches sewing class now. But we have a warehouse full of costumes that we've had for many years from different shows. And so the idea is not to overcharge parents. We're not here to make money, obviously. So it's about whatever is best for those kids to learn. So if it's learning to make costumes rather than buying costumes,
Right.
you know, or we teach how to make trees out of paper mache, but then also not compromising the quality. So we do it for little money, but still big production values.
So we talked earlier about donations and grants. Donations sometimes are monetary.
Mhm.
It could also be spools of thread from maybe an estate that we're clearing out. Oh, by the way, look at what grandma had, and bringing the material and threads and things to you
Right.
because you're going to repurpose everything.
Right. Right. Obviously, you know, financial donations just for operating costs. We absolutely need that. But you're right. Sometimes it's items that can be used, even
Right.
for some of our silent auctions in our gala to raise money, or it's something that we just literally use that here, and especially if it's like guitars or recording equipment and that kind of things. But it's also good when Elon Musk is going to call us and say, "I'm a trillionaire now, so you can have this much money." That
Did
would
you
be
hear that,
nice.
Mr. Musk? Before the next satellite goes up, we wouldn't mind a donation here at Ovation, right? For
Right.
sure.
Yeah, should I
Okay.
have said that? Is that okay to say
That is,
that?
I'm
Okay.
sure that's okay. We're not going to get into too much trouble. And if
Okay.
we do,
There you go.
okay, we move forward. Well, with that said, I have to say thank you for everything you do because you walk into this with an open heart, and these kids were when I've interacted with them, they are just amazing and they just want to learn more. They have eager in their voice and desire to move forward. And you don't often see that with young people today. You see some of them just sitting around munching all day long, and then there's the few go-getters as well. But these kids here are just a wonderful
Yeah,
group.
we
and
love them.
Thank you. Yeah, we are so grateful. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Len, let me tell you, please add location, how we can find you, your website, things like that.
Okay, so we're downtown Upland, right under the Upland sign is 60 East 9th Street. Our website is ovationperformingarts.org. And I just want to mention co-founder Becky Broyles and voice teacher, and she runs everything. And then Jackie is our partner. She's brilliant at everything she does, you know, choreographer, dancer, composer, I mean, everything. And just everyone that works so hard together, the volunteers that we have here and all of our teachers, it's important to mention them as well.
Well, thank you for that. And yes, Jackie had Eric Hansen. There you go, Eric. I'm calling you out again. As y'all are going to see in the clip, we were dancing right there in the green screen.
Yeah.
Boy, that was fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much. We appreciate everything you do for our community.
Hey, thank you.